At first, I didn't think it was real. I woke up to this blinding light, and I was transported to another place. Pluto TV! Then I heard a voice.
Come with me if you want to live.
There were thousands of movies and shows, and they were all free.
The truth is ours.
It's just so beautiful.
On Pluto TV, free streaming of Terminator 2, Fringe, Arrow, The 100, and The X-Files may cause excitement, loss of sleep, and sudden belief in extraterrestrials. No credit cards or alien encounters necessary. Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.
Hey, I just Venmo'd you for rent.
Nice. Now I can instantly spend it whether I'm checking out online with Venmo or using a Venmo debit card.
Say more.
More exactly. Because the more you do with Venmo, the more you get. Like earning up to 5% cash back with Venmo Stash on a bundle of brands.
So, order more pizza.
The math demands it.
Get the Venmo debit card.
Venmo Stash bundle terms and exclusions apply. See terms at venmo.me/stash terms. Venmo checkout not available at all merchants. Venmo MasterCard is issued by the Bancorp Bank N.A.
Hello and welcome to the 160-somethingth episode of the Filmmakers Podcast.
Yeah.
This is a podcast where we talk filmmaking from indie films to studio films and
everything in between.
How to make them, how to get... I've actually forgotten what this is. How to make them. How
not to F it up.
How to get them made and how to try not to F it up. Something
that's
like
right.
You know the drill by now. Basically, this podcast is about how to make films and how to try not to F it up when you're doing that. That's basically what I'm trying to say in that intro, right?
Yeah.
Good. I'm Giles Alderson. I'm a writer, director, and I'm a producer. And today's podcast, we're talking with the fantastic director, Jack Spring, who managed to make a feature film when he was 19, get signed by WME, the huge agent William Morris Endeavour, and get his movie, Destination Dewsbury, released in cinemas. It's an absolute doozy, as the guys across the pond say. Thank you so much, by the way, all of you across the pond, for listening. I love you all. But before we get to Jack, first, I am delighted to be joined on this week's episode by my co-host who's been busy for a while, Christian James. Hello, buddy.
Thanks, G. I should have been busy with something else, but I was busy in lockdown instead.
Now, Christian James, if you don't know him, because maybe you've just joined listening to this podcast for a few weeks and you've not heard his dulcet tones or seen his luscious locks, but Christian James has directed 3 features, including Freak Out, Stalled and Fanged Up, starring Stu Bennett and Dapper Laughs and Danielle Harold, as well as some other amazing people as well. You tend to make comedy films, fun, sort of tongue-in-cheek, really fun romps.
Romps. Right, yeah, romps. I don't even like that word. The first one was more because we were kids, just mucking around. That's where we met. Yeah. Through that, we met Your Fine Self, or just after that. Second one was a Labour of Love, which we made ourselves. And then the third one was, I think, because of the previous 2, it kind of found me. So yeah, I do tend to make comedies and sort of fun, knockabout, high concept.
Yep, you do. Whereas mine have been a bit more serious, except A Serial Killer's Guide to Life, but it's dark. It's tongue-in-cheek dark. It's that, black comedy. And the Dare is really dark.
But it's not for want of trying. Because funny enough, every time
I try to be funny.
I've got close to making something dark and serious. It's fallen apart or not happened.
Oh, I see, yeah.
And recently, so I was developing, or still am developing, a TV pilot, adapting a short story by Patrick Gale. And I think when we caught up on Zach Adler's podcast,
yes,
around Christmas time,
yeah,
I mentioned it but couldn't mention what it is because I don't think the rights had all been secured, but they've since been sorted. Wow. And we were a week from shooting, but then our Prime Minister announced that we all had to just stay in our houses. So
you were literally a week from shooting.
A week, but no, less than a week. In fact, less than a week, because I think he announced on the Monday. We started shooting on the Saturday.
Mate, had you fully prepared and everything, and you were ready to shoot?
Our poor producer had spent a lot of money on certain things. Yeah, there's a lot of
certain things, actors, maybe names, places, locations.
One actor was coming in from LA.
Oh my gosh!
A great cast, but great crew.
Are you going to pick it up? Pick it up?
Yes, hopefully we are. We watch this space. It's.
I'm super excited to hear more. Can you tell us the name? Can you tell us anything about it?
I can't, because the rights have expired, because contractually we didn't but it looks like we'll get them back. We've got a very good relationship with Patrick, and if we can get them back, my brilliant producer Thomas Cole, for ASAP, we can pick it up and ideally shoot latter part of this year and get everyone back. Crossed. I was so excited. The crew were amazing, and it was something I've been trying to do for years. And actually, after Stall, the second feature, this is the direction I wanted to go.
Right.
But weirdly, a few things nearly happened, didn't happen, and then Fanged Up came along at a time when I was kind of like a little bit, not burnt out, but certainly a bit like, what am I going to do? And then Fanged Up came along, which was much more in my traditional wheelhouse. So I'm sort of back on the previous path with this one.
Right.
So,
I love it. Oh, great. Super exciting. Can't wait to hear more about that. I'm actually really excited by that. Well done, man.
How about yourself, buddy? What's been going on? You've been like films upon films upon films and TV pilots and more films. What's going on?
Yeah, I haven't stopped working. I was always busy anyway. I'm the kind of person who just keeps busy.
Yeah.
But in this lockdown, I have not been busier. I finished 2 scripts. I finished a presentation. We started talking about investment for this other project. Obviously doing the podcast stuff and the Make Your Film event, of course. And it's coming up as well. It's June the 4th. It's literally a week and a bit away. It's not long away now. And we have already announced Dan Mazer, the director of Borat, which is amazing. But a new guest just announced is Sharon Maguire, the director of Bridget Jones's Diary. Come join us. Link to that is in the show notes. It's online, so you can all join us.
Cool.
Why not? Come be there.
Awesome, bud.
So I've been doing that, and I've been helping other people with their films, reading scripts. I just feel like I haven't been able to stop, It's not that I want to, because it's good to just keep going, and then and weeding out the stuff I don't want to do anymore, This has been really good for that.
Yes.
Is this happening? Is this anywhere going? Well, if it's not, right, let's put it on the back burner and concentrate on the ones that are.
So there have been a few projects which you've been attached to, which have just been treading water, and you're like, get rid.
Yes. So that's what's happened, which has been really good to concentrate and focus on the ones that I really care about and really want to do. Not that I didn't care about those. It was like, well, if they're not going anywhere now, I'm going to focus all my energy onto those ones. And I've knuckled down with the writers I've been writing with, and we've got these scripts solid, and they've gone out now, and we've had some amazing feedback. And there could be sequel to The Dare happening. There's a lot of things. The Dare's done well in certain countries, and suddenly people are interested in the sequel. I don't know I'm allowed to say that on here, but hey, no one's listening, are they?
No.
It's just me and you, CJ, right?
Exactly.
It's just a
little chat. You're not recording.
It's a little chat. No. If you have any questions, by the way, do get in touch. We have an email address now. It is thefilmmakerspodcast@gmail.com. I know it only took us 3 years, but now we have one, so you can get in touch, and I have all of them there, so they're not lost within mine. So if you want to be on, or you have any questions, get in touch, especially if you made a feature film. So, should we get to this week's episode with Jack Spring?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Enjoy, everyone.
Ahoy, hoy.
Ahoy, hoy.
Here he is.
How you doing, Jack? You all right, buddy?
Good, my man. I am, I've had a cracking week film-wise.
Oh, yeah?
I had my first human face-to-face meeting. We raised $300,000 for the next movie on a park bench in Kensington.
I love this. This sounds like some sort of seedy dealings, and I really like it.
It does, yeah. The first the synopsis of this event did not paint a non-seedy picture at all.
Did you have a big trench coat on? You're like, hey, if I show you this, will you give me $300,000?
Brown envelopes were passed.
I love it. It's a delight to have you on, Jack. Thank you so much for joining myself and CJ.
I've been listening for a while, and I thought it was best I send a message and say hello.
I love it. Yeah, and of course I wanted to get you on and talk about Destination Dewsbury. Absolutely. And obviously I wanted to meet CJ, Christian James, my host today.
The man himself.
Hello. You all right, buddy? How's things?
CJ, pleasure, son. How are you?
All the better for hearing you two.
And it's so nice that we're all here and getting to chat. I mean, it would have been so much nicer face to face, which I always prefer. Like you say, we could have sat on a park bench. We could have sat, 2 meters apart on a park bench. The other park bench on the other side, and sort of waved at each other. And
it was one of these big round park bench table things.
Oh, okay.
It was really good. It was perfect. It wasn't sitting next to each other on a park bench. That would have been quite hard to have a meeting.
I was about to say that. It would be estranged.
That's what you want. Off Kensington High Street, there's a pair of lovely round park benches.
Wow. We could hire this park bench between us, couldn't we? Share it out.
There were geezers doing yoga and stuff there. Everyone was out. It's lovely.
Is that where investors generally hang out? Park benches in that area?
I think it's more Kensington rather than that park bench.
Yeah.
I think that's the neighbourhood you want to be hanging around in.
I think so too. Actually, it does make a difference. You know what I mean? If you're there I'm not going to insult an area now, but if you're there in that beep area, you're less likely to meet an investor on a park bench.
Cool.
You go to Kensington.
Yeah.
And this is a nice area of London, everyone, for those who are listening overseas. It's green. It's pretty. Lovely shops. Do you live there, Jack? Is this what you're telling us? You're quite well.
No,
How did you
get
get there?
Commute in like a peasant I am.
Oh my gosh. How was that going on
That
the
was
tube?
weird.
I've not been.
Going into Victoria Station, literally no one there. No one. There was more police officers than there were people. I think I might have seen 2 other people at most.
Did you jump on the tube as well?
Yeah.
But you could have run to Kensington Park. You could have run to that park bench if you're investor
thought
meeting.
about driving in. I did, but then there was like part of me just wanted to see what London was like. But I didn't. You'd get a sense in a car, but I wanted to see if Victoria would be empty, and it was really empty.
Wow. Did you film anything on your phone? Did you actually get your phone out and do it?
I'm bad at stuff. I should do. I don't think like that. My first port of call is how do we get even on like this micro level, how do we get the money in? Before I'm not wired to just like start making stuff. It's weird.
But hang on a minute. Well, I feel like you are, because the fact that you managed to raise your own money to make your feature film, you set up your hot tubs company. And the fact you were 18 and then sold it a year later or whatever it was for a decent amount of money. I'd say that your brain was wired, or was that a total fluke? Because obviously we're going to talk about filmmaking and Destination Dewsbury and your next journey and getting signed with WME. Yeah. But the fact is you set up a hot tub company at 18.
Yeah.
Even though you're making films.
That was all very deliberate.
Go on,
so I've always, I guess, been aware of the business side of the filmmaking. And I don't want to be responsible for raising cash. I don't like it. But, ultimately you have to, at this level, you're not going to attract producers that can raise decent cash. So you've kind of got to do it yourself. So I dropped out of uni, basically did a year of film and TV at York, and didn't like it for.
And why was that? What made you go there in the first place, and what made you drop out? What were you expecting versus what you ultimately got?
I guess I grew up from an early age thinking university was success and anything else was failure. I think that's just quite how society is. It's drilled into parents, teachers. Head of sixth forms, they get paid based on how many kids they send to uni. And to be fair to them, they don't really know the film industry, so they don't know that bit of paper is
very true. Yeah, fairly
useless. And it's all about what else you've done at uni. And I went, and I remember the open day. They were very clear that like the kids that they were going to let in weren't just clever rich kids. They were kids that were really passionate about film and made lots of film. And I was basically going to get drunk for 3 years and to network movies. I was doing them like every weekend. And the kids weren't like that. They were just clever rich kids. The course kind of didn't teach me anything that I wasn't learning just by doing it. And at this point, literally every weekend I'd write something on a Friday, shoot Saturday, edit Sunday, all through that first year of uni.
And how were you doing that? Because that's great. I love this story. But how were you doing that? Did you have your own camera? Were you using the kit they had? How were you even knowing how to go make a short film?
I started when I was like 13. So I was like, I was a seasoned pro by this point in my head. Yeah, I knew what I was doing. And,
I love it. You're like young Spielberg.
Well,
I love it.
I just started when I was about 5 or 6. My dad made these little stop motion animations with us because he was out of work for a bit. And that kind of got me into it. And then when I was about 12, 13, got my sort of like over-ambitious Christmas wish with a DSLR camera, got it, and then I was away. And so I started doing everything, hold the camera, I'd do the music, I'd write it, I'd never act in it, I've never got into acting, but I do everything else. And then it's like any craft, the more you do it, the better you get. You just make plenty of mistakes, you kind of work out what genre you want to play in, what you're good at as a director and what you're not. And, it's just like any craft, the more you do it, the better you get. So I was going to uni at 18, I'd won loads of like awards at festivals across the world.
Did you feel a little too, I'm not saying this, but you were going to uni knowing already that you'd made stuff and knowing stuff. Did you get there and pretty much no one knew anything?
Yeah.
And you were a bit like, oh God, why am I here?
Yeah, it was like, they sold me the course that it's going to be a load of passionate kids. So I thought it'd be a load of people like me, and I'd meet a load of people like me that wanted to make a load of stuff together. And I thought that at that point there was like a rule book to filmmaking. I'd very much self-taught. I'd never, and I've never come from the kind of like cinephile side. So a lot of people get into filmmaking because they love watching films. I don't mind watching films, but I much prefer making them. It's weird. It's like
that makes sense.
I like driving my car, but I don't really like watching F1. It's not like I don't like watching films, but I come from it from a purely I love making them side, like the other side of the spectrum. So I thought there was just certain, and to an extent there are certain rules to follow, but I thought I'd learn them there. And I didn't, it was all very essay based. It was Red Brick Uni, so very academic. The staff had kind of never made films. They'd all come through academia. They'd been to school, been to uni, stayed at uni. and now teaching the next generation. It was
of people of how to stay in uni and not make films properly.
And basically,
it's not
the course
ideal.
was going to cost you the best part of 50 grand, and it was going to kind of probably make you quite a good runner for the BBC or something. But it wasn't special. Like, I knew I wanted to be a director, and that the first year for all these kids was basically working out what they wanted to do. And it was just a way. I knew what I wanted to do, and I didn't care about the history of microphones. I just didn't. Didn't care about writing an essay about why Barry Chuckle wears red trousers. Don't care. Like, and it's not.
Don't care.
It's not just obnoxious not caring, because obviously as a director you need to know a bit of everything. But I just wasn't doing, being allowed to do what I wanted to do to help myself learn.
There's a lot of padding at uni as well. I very similar path myself. So you went to uni thinking it was going to be meeting like-minded people, and actually it was quite the opposite.
I remember we made one short film at the end of the year, and you had to use all the kids on the course. So you had to use kids that aren't actors as actors. You had to shoot it on campus. It had to be about some, I don't know, social awakening. I don't know, some coming of age rubbish. And I wasn't allowed to use any of my real life contacts. So if I could just have done so much by that point. I had my composer and my DOP and my team that went on to make Destination Dewsbury. Basically, we were working together at that point. And I was just like, what's the point? And then it got even worse. It wasn't just a waste of time. It became vicious. I'd win. I remember winning like 500 quid at a film festival in somewhere in Eastern Europe, and they sent me over to it and got to go to the ceremony and won this like small cash prize. And the uni wanted to keep it because I was a student there, and I'd used like one of their tripods or some rubbish. And I was just like, the point of this course is so that the kids can go and make a career out of film. I'm the only one doing it, like, making cash from it, albeit tiny, and I'm getting punished for it. It's like you're punishing intuition, and I just can't stand people that are rude and people that punish intuition. Then, I went to see the head of year, and I remember it was like this James Bond moment. He turned around on his chair, looked out the window, almost like he was stroking a rabbit or something, and said, Jack, when I told him I was thinking about quitting and going to do a movie, and he was like, I had a friend that did a film really young once, he never did one again. And at that point, there was some expletives passed across the room, and that was it. I was gone.
Yeah, good for you. Do you know what? I really like that. I wish I'd had more balls at uni.
And they just don't teach you anything about the money side. The only reason I've gone on to make a movie is because I taught myself the money stuff, and none of the other kids have learnt that, so they haven't.
How did you teach yourself the money stuff? That's quite an interesting sort of, if it wasn't being taught, where did you find it?
So I went, so at the end of my first year of uni, the uni tried to block this again. There was a feature film in York being shot called Scott and Sid, like $1 million budget movie.
Yeah.
The two filmmakers, Scott and Sid, they were 10 years older than me, and they'd raised £1 million, and I was like, wow, right, cool. But they were from Bradford, so they didn't sound really intelligent. So I thought,
because they're from Bradford. Wait,
just the accent.
Well, I'm from Harrogate. It's very near.
Yeah, but you sound like posh Yorkshire.
Well, that's Harrogate. Sorry about that. It's true. Bradford's proper. They sounded
proper Bradford, Yeah, and it's no, they're the two most intelligent people I've probably ever met in the way that they shaped my outlook, and their whole thing was about chasing your dreams. And anyway, they took a bit of a liking to me, and on like day 3 or 4 I was working on it. I remember Scott, the director, bringing me into his office and just giving me this half-an-hour chat that just completely changed my life. It was like an atomic bomb had gone off in my head, like the treasure chest of just ambition, I guess. And I could kind of hustle my way through many situations, but it just took them to explain that if we can do it, you can do it. And the accent thing was something that he said, that didn't come out of kind of my thought. He said to me, he was like, listen to how we sound. We're not these really posh kids who are from a different stratosphere. Literally, if we can do it, you can do it. And it just installed this mad self-belief. And they were like, go away and research SEIS and work out how to put a business plan together. And that was pretty much the extent of the help, but that was all I needed. It was literally just you can do it. And I was like, you know what, yeah, I can. Around that time, I just put like a 30-40 page business plan together. It was really good. I got me mum's cousin did business plans for like HP. So I'd do a version, I'd send it to him, and he'd be like, switch this around here, switch this around here. So it went through, I had good people around me. I didn't just, work it all out myself as such. I, just utilised all my contacts and resource.
And that is so important to do that. Yeah,
it been something I'm good at. Just basically being annoying and asking favours all the time from everyone. But yeah, and then once we had that, we were going out to investors. But No one was buying.
How did you even find them in the first place? How did you find these investors?
It's hard. We didn't. That was the hardest bit, finding them. When I didn't. From my background, I didn't know any really rich people. I didn't know anyone in the film industry. I think the first couple of meetings we had were like my mates at university. One of them, one of their dads owned like a woolen mill or something, and so it was contacts like that. Really loose. And they wouldn't meet because I was 18. And I was like, why is that the problem? It's, I don't want to wait, 10, 15 years till it's normal age to do a feature, if there is a normal age. But I wanted to do it now. So I thought, I thought a bit deeper about it, right? The problem with being 18 is that you've not seen that amount of cash, never mind budgeted properly, never mind not spunked it, never mind, even make a profit. So I thought, right, if I go away, start a company, hopefully that goes well, and then in a year's time I'll come back, as a 19-year-old kid with hopefully a decent business record, and then, hopefully they'll put the money in. Right. And that's basically, very long story short, that's basically what we did. I woke up, I went on a very heavy night under the watchful eye of Mr. Weatherspoon in Leeds.
He loves the night out, he does.
Oh, yeah. Woke up on a hot July morning in my mate's house, and I saw on Facebook one of my mates had bought an inflatable hot tub, and I thought, I want it. And it was like 500 quid, didn't have enough money for that. I thought about renting one for a weekend, because I was hungover. All I wanted to be is too big to get in a bath. So I just basically wanted a Jack-sized bath. And inflatable hot tubs were the closest things. And there are basically loads of people doing it, but they're all rubbish. In the world of commercial aquatics, hygiene is somewhat important, and none of the websites look very hygienic. They all had like at gmail.com, 07 mobile numbers, you couldn't book online, no pricing, all the like stuff you want as a customer. So I just had a bit of a light bulb moment. I thought, right, here's my ticket to getting the film made. I'm going to start a hot tub company. Me and two other mates that I live with put 500 quid in each, emptied out our overdrafts, bought a hot tub. I read a book about social media marketing to middle-aged women. We got, built a website on Squarespace, Wix or something, Squarespace. I
love this shit. This is amazing.
Just, got good at marketing to them. We do like these competitions where, we'd be like, tag 5 friends that you'd like to share a hot tub with, and you might win one. And you'd get, you'd chuck like 100 quid behind it as a marketing, like paid marketing on Facebook, and you'd get just hundreds of thousands of people engaging. And, conveniently, my housemates would always win the prize. By complete luck, obviously. But
obviously.
It was mad.
Look at the draw.
It was, starting the hot tub company was it was just a stepping stone to getting the financing. I didn't see any other way of doing it apart from, I saw the big block as being 18. The problem is, I felt I'd proved myself for my age on the film side because I'd done these awards, blah, 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 blah. And, made loads of shorts, and, the content was pretty good for an 18-year-old kid. So I thought that was the side that was letting me down. So I thought if I can come back, and we did. So we had like 90 hot tubs within 12 months with like 9 different cities across the UK with like depots and vans and shit. And
incredible.
Yeah, it kicked off, and but it got a bit silly. Like we were doing like 14-hour days. I remember like getting a call on a Monday morning at like 3 a.m. off a drunk woman in Southampton screaming at me like, I put a fag out on my hot tub and it's burst and it's flooded my entire apartment block.
Oh my God!
What an idiot!
Oh yeah, and she was having a go at me as if this was my fault. I was like, what?
"Oh yeah, she blames you."
I'm in York asleep, and I'm like, "What on earth do you expect us to do? Like, you owe us a new hot tub."
And you were renting them as well.
Renting them out, yeah. So it was like 100 quid a night, and then we'd have geezers go and set it up.
So you made quite. You were doing well with this. You were making a decent amount.
I mean,
you were living well off this.
Well, I wasn't. The company was growing. It was all growth. I basically gave myself a 12-month deadline to turn over as much cash as possible, and that'd be my impressive figure I could take back to investors. So I didn't take, I took enough out to live, but wasn't living the life of Riley.
Sure.
What did the company go? What sort of value did you get it to in a year, or where did?
So it did over 100 grand in year one.
Amazing.
And I basically, gave it for a very nominal fee to the 2 lads that were running it with me by the end. I'd used that record to get my Destination Dewsbury money in. I wanted to go shoot the movie and did not want to come back to the world of hot tubs.
So your plan was always just do it for a year, get the numbers up, and then go to investors and say, "Look, I did this for a year." Was that that was kind of the look I'm doing a year with this.
Yeah, and it was now it's an absolutely brilliant PR hook. Hot tubs to Hollywood. The amount of times people have used that headline. It made I didn't have this master plan at the time in terms of, you know, the PR for the movie. You know, so much of the PR was about, you know, A, doing it really young, and B, the cool story of getting it made via a hot tub company.
Yeah.
It's not like we sold the company and used that cash to fund the movie. I mean, that would have been just as cool to do. But, you know, I basically, the sum that I did get for the company, I lived off while the movie was in post.
Right, which is important because people do forget that post time where actually there's no money coming in because it's post time, but yet you've still got to sit and edit and then get sound mix in and get a score in, and you've got to do that, and you're not necessarily a lot of the time not getting paid for that, especially on indie film. People forget that.
Yeah, I didn't take a wage at all for Dewsbury, neither did the producer. I mean, Kate Dow was the same age as me. I think she was a year older, and, you know, she had we came under budget by like 35 quid, and then I got a 70 quid parking fine on rap night, but we don't talk about that. I mean, she was remarkable, and, you know, the production manager Alana, you know, it was basically like a 3 or 4 man production team put the whole thing together. It was a road trip movie. There was like 92 different locations that we shot in about 23 days. It was nuts.
Nuts.
You know, but it were rough ass filmmaking. You know, like we had 2 production houses. One was in Bradford, in Fagley in Bradford, and the other one was in Batley, which is right next to Dewsbury. And the Bradford one, when we moved, we used that house for like pre-production as well. And then I moved out with the actors to the Batley house, but everyone else was still living in the Bradford house. And when we moved in, there was a pink light in the hallway, and we thought, this must have used to be in a brothel. Bantering, of course. And then turns out it did used to be a brothel, and they thought we were back at it.
That's incredible. Probably dirtier than your hot tubs by the time they came back.
I used to have calls from staff. You know, I remember this one from one of my mates ran it in Bristol, Ben, and he gave me a call once. He was like, Jack, I'm not putting my hand in that hot tub. I said, son, glove up. And you know, you can guess at some of the things that were floating in hot tubs after a night of exacerbated use
of whatever. Yeah. So to finish up the hot tub sort of story, if you like. So you then went back to that the investor team that you spoke to, and you then told them the story. You said what you'd done. Did they then put the money in?
No. I think we...
But it gave you the passion for it. It made... Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Yeah, it was a lot easier, you know. And by the time... Because when we grew the hot tub empire, if you like, whenever we launched a new city, again, just to increase turnover, I wanted to do as many cities as quickly as possible. So we took some investor money, as in like, you know, $5,000. Sorry, I'm getting very burpy. Just having decaf coffee for the first time ever, and it's making me very belchy. Nice. We took like $5,000 investments to open a new city, so we could buy more hot tubs, and, you know, we'd match fund it from our kind of central pot, and we, you know, it just helped us grow quicker. Again, just to get that turnover figure, you know, if you've got 9 streams of income rather than, you know, the 2 or 3 you could afford organically, it helps. So we were putting on Facebook all the time, like, you know, we're looking for investment, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, so people just from contacting us through that, we kind of had a few money leads. And, you know, with a $150,000 budget, $5,000 is very helpful, you know, so we, you know, we kind of sort of developed a bit of a network through the hot tub investors. And then, you know, my main investor ended up putting about just under half the budget in. He saw that Facebook post. I'd lent him my DSLR camera about a year before. Best thing I've ever done. And didn't know that he had any money. You know, then he saw that. And I remember I was seeing a girl in Leeds, and I was living in York. And I remember being on the train and he ringing me and trying to, you know, saying he's interested in investing. And, you know, I was like in the train toilet shouting, trying to keep signal, blah, it was a nightmare. And then by the end of it, you know, I was telling him about hot tub investment, because, you know, that's what we were kind of actively had open and were getting investment in for successfully. And by the end of the call, he sounded pretty disappointed when we were like, we need $5,000. And he was like, you know, I've got a bit more. I wanted to, you know, put a bit more into something. So I was like, I've got this movie 9 or 10 months after starting the hot tub company.
That's great. Yeah. Do you mind saying how much the budget was? Are you allowed to talk about that now?
Yeah, it was $150,000.
Yep.
So we raised about 75, 80 of it beforehand, you know, and shot it. And then, you know, the thing took about a year in post, because I had to go away and then raise, you know, another like 5, 10, 15, 20 grand chunks, and we do another 10 grand a post at a time, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you 150
grand. And within that, did you have, had you, you know, set up your information memorandum so that you could give that to your investors? Had you done a full waterfall plan? Had you done all that side of things?
Yeah. So we had a, you know, a comprehensive kind of deck. I mean, the waterfall was pretty simple, because we, you know, all the kind of, now we're in, the millions sort of finance, you know what tax credits are, and you know what sales MGs are and gap finance. I didn't have a clue what any of that was. Someone told me about the BFI 20%, a year down the line, it was Brucey bonus. We raised the whole lot in cash, just because, I think a film with that budget, you probably have to anyway. You're not going to get an MG because you've got no stars in it. Gap finance is probably too small to get anyone excited about. And even, cash flow and the tax credit, again, is such a small amount. The interest is probably isn't going to be worth, a loaner's time very much.
Very true.
So, it was pretty simple deal structure. Whatever we got back, I think, as the production company, 70% went to investors, 30% went to a producer, and that was it. So that obviously for the next movies, you've done proper waterfalls and stuff, but it was
for that one, it was quite a simple thing, which is great then, I suppose, because you're speaking to people who haven't invested in film before, which actually sometimes is the best, but they know exactly what they're getting. So for every £1 it makes, they get 70p. Great. All right. And that's split between how many investors you had, I imagine.
Yeah. With the narrative sort of being a lot at the moment about, there's, distribution's sort of challenging at best. How were you able to show investors, where they can make the money, or how are you able to sort of prove, how money could be clawed back from anywhere? Because that seems to be, to me, a tough thing to prove right now. Also.
Yeah, I mean, looking back, how we ever did that, God only knows. That would probably be the hardest sell of my career. Yeah. I hope, because we've got no, once you start attaching talent and, you've got the agents and you can do some pre-sales in advance, it's still hard, but, there's a clearer path to getting it made. Whereas this, really, you've got to find people that are just backing me as a person.
Sure.
We put in a clause in there, that whatever happens, in terms of how much money they get back, they will get shares in the next film. There's a thank you for backing me, and the one after that. So really, they got their hands in 3 films for the price of 1. So they're really, the film will make its money back just in time, is what it's looking kind of prediction wise. And then you've got SCIS on top of that, so they will be up.
Which is great and well done. That's amazing for a little indie like this, that you made, run and gun style. And the fact is, and I totally agree with you, people invest in you as a person. If you've got your shit together, if you're there with your packs and your information and you're talking about it, they can look at that all day, and they probably do all day if they're businessmen. But what they're really investing in is you and your passion and your drive and where they think you're going to go in the future, because they're going to love to be on the golf course or whatever in 5 years and go, I found him. If it wasn't for me, it wouldn't be right.
And you won't forget them either. These are people that took a risk at the riskiest part of your career on a project that has pretty little commercial value, but they're kind of in it for the long haul. And on 3D Millionaire, the film we're doing next, and the one that we just got the money in for the other week, they've all got shares in it, and I'm not letting them go until they're well up. It's such a nominal amount of cash, but it was such a valuable amount of cash for where I was in my life. And it was just doing that film at that age opened up every door that has been open to me. Without doing that, if I'd stayed at uni, I was scared about what I would be doing now.
Isn't that funny? And isn't it a great endorsement about grabbing life by the balls and just saying, do you know what? This isn't for me. I'm going to go do it this way. And if you believe in something, you can go do it. You can.
Yeah, I work with a lot of young directors now, and just and they have no idea what SCIS is, and I'm like, this is your best friend, lads. You need to, and I, point them in the right direction. I think there needs to be some proper voice from the other side of the fence. That it's just an alternative film school. Essentially, and it could be online. And I'm not teaching you how to make go work that stuff out yourself just by doing it. But how business works, how you get an agent, how you sell stuff, what distribution is. I didn't know what a sales agent was when we started getting approached by them. I didn't know what a waterfall was or what tax.
The difference between a sales agent and a distributor. Yeah, absolutely. You don't know what territories.
Yeah,
doesn't absolutely.
You have no idea what you're signing. You're hoping for the best. I was very lucky. I got a manager pretty young who guided me through it, and he's the one that got WME. Blah 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 blah. You don't need to learn to be a runner. It's what these film courses are kind of like gearing you up for, really, or junior positions in whatever department. You're far more valuable asset to an employer in that department if you've got 3 years of actually doing it. And you
So
can,
true.
no, it's not an industry where you require education. And I get people going to uni for if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer, and that's if you're chasing your dream, I've got all the time in the world for you.
Yes.
If you're just there to doss about and watch films, you're just wasting your own time and money. And crack on, because there's less competition for us. But like, the amount of messages I get from like kids and like actors and stuff that are like, "Oh, can you meet me for some advice?" And I always do, because I've been there, and I hope that I meet a gem.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why we do this podcast. The same thing, it's to help, to put back out there what we didn't really have.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we'll do what we can and we'll chat to other filmmakers who've done this. So why not? Why not put this out?
Yeah.
But it is a fear. But it is, you obviously overcame that fear, but so many people are frightened of failure or success, and both sometimes at the same time. Is if you go, well, I'm going to be a filmmaker, I'm going to be the next Spielberg. Oh, and then you put yourself out there and you fail, or it doesn't work, or you can't do it. Well, now your dream's gone. So I understand why people are scared, but at the same time, if you don't do it, you're going to be 80 and still talking about I could have been.
Exactly.
So sod it.
And that's always been scary for me. I've always had this vision, and I can't remember if this is another thing that Scott said in that meeting. I feel like it might have been. I think he might have said, like, don't be 80-year-old Jack, or 90, hopefully 400-year-old Jack looking at 10-year-old Jack on your deathbed. Looking him in the eyes and say, "Oh, sorry, mate, I didn't do that. Should have done it."
Absolutely right.
And I think, for me, it's never been a fear. It's always just been exciting. Doing films is exciting. The people you meet, it's the best industry in the world. I knew that even just from doing little shorts and not really being in the industry. I just love doing it. And for me, it was like, you're either going to win and you're going to get your movie made, whatever comes after that. And admittedly, I thought it'd be a bit easier to get the second one made. A bit naive. I thought doing it young, there'd be agents knocking at the door, and it wasn't okay.
That's quite interesting. So actually, going back to that, because I think, but Giles and I, we've been there as well, where you, because you have to go into this your first film with a "if you build it, they'll come" type attitude, and not in every case, but in a lot of cases, it's not quite that simple, because there's a lot more to do. I would say you forever climb the mountain, and when you think you're at the peak, suddenly you're only a third of the way up. Yeah. Having got to the peak of the first film, how did that sort of change into the second, and what challenges were you looking at, which you thought you wouldn't have? Yeah,
I got a manager pretty quickly after doing Dewsbury. So one of the guys in the movie, David Keogh, plays Adam, the shouty bald man. He was rep by a guy called Larry Robinson out in LA. I think David had shared a rough cut of Dewsbury with Larry, and I was outside. A lot of my career's revolved around Wetherspoons. I was outside of Wetherspoons, and for 3 hours while Larry, from LA, explained what a manager does and why I need one. And then I was going. Of course, he did. I was in this kind of like really rubbish indie band, and we did this kind of like self-made tour across the US basically. So I was going to end up in LA a few months later. So I went out and met him, and we clicked, and he's been great ever since. So I had the manager, and then I thought, I kind of knew that manager's the first step, and then once you get an agent, hopefully stuff gets really easy. And again, wrong, but that seemed like the next kind of step. Finished shooting in 2017. The film came out in 1st of March 2019, but so about June 2018, I got contacted by the group of investors that have just put in the money for 3-Day Millionaire set in Grimsby. My investor network from Dewsbury was people that could afford 5-10 grand. Now I needed people that could put hundreds of thousands in, and anything less than 50 grand was fairly useless. So it was basically starting again, with investor networks, and learning how to package a film. It was to do. So I just kind of, as with everything, just kind of winged it. So we attached some. I'm still not allowed to say who we got attached, but attached some, good talent. We've got a Oscar winner, BAFTA winner, a couple of guys out of This Is England. Really nice thing. We're chatting to a very a life-changing kind of exec, and if they sign, we've got verbal on it. But if they do, then that's really a game changer. Right. But we're trying to get the last bits of cash in for that, and I thought that would be easier, to be honest. But we put together a package that artistically is superb, commercially not as strong as it could be. So we're kind of tweaking the package at the minute. still the biggest battle is raising cash. We've also just got, again, it's been a good week. This week got the last bit of cash in we need. I've kind of made the step into TV.
Is this your football? Is this Life in Non-League?
This is the football, and this is Life in Non-League. Yeah. Did I send this over?
No. I just do my homework.
It's class. It's really good.
Yeah.
I got TV industry, kind of got into a bit, and was facing the same kind of things that I had as an 18-year-old kid trying to raise cash. For the movie, it was basically like, we really like you, we like the sound of the project, but being a first-time TV writer, we're going to find it hard to get it away. That's almost been a step back in terms of raising cash, because it's I can go back to my first investors, and it's kind of friends and family amount, and you can find it by we've got the majority of the budget in by sending Facebook messages to friends on Facebook.
Amazing. So just to jump onto that, I mean, you mentioned WME then, and we have mentioned it before, and that came through your manager.
Yes.
Because it is a huge thing. Getting WME, and I think you were the youngest director ever, is that right? To sign up with WME or something like that. How did you get signed with WME then? How did you do? Did you go over there to meet them? Was it a full session with them?
So we'd actively gone out to virtually. My manager had sent emails to virtually every agent in the UK and the US. And cold calling agents doesn't really work, even if it's from your manager, because they get it all the time. One of Larry's and my manager, other clients got signed by WME, and then they started talking about me.
I see.
And Melissa, the agent, watched Destination Dewsbury, liked it. She watched the behind the scenes, kind of like how we made it story, liked it. She was in London, so went to meet her in a hotel. Got on very, very well. Shared the same ambition. The problem I'd had with, and I'd been to a few agent meetings before. No one really shared my let's just go do it attitude. And even with the Life in Non-League pilot, I was chatting to Melissa and kind of. I said, I'd been to these meetings that you set me up for, and they were good, and I did well, but it was the same thing, and I don't want to play this. I don't want to be here in 18 months not having made at least an episode.
Yes, exactly.
It just doesn't work with my mindset. I just can't. It doesn't work. Don't compute for me. And 10 minutes into the meeting, we were like, right, let's do this. And then she said, right, who do you want to meet? Sent told her a load of names that she wrote down. Then we're off, and then I think that was late November, and obviously agents take forever off at Christmas. So I think all the paperwork was done January, did the press release, and that was it. I mean, that'd be great.
Yeah, that's amazing. And then obviously Destination Dewsbury is out, and you had that to talk about and do all the press, and it's a great story.
Yeah,
it's
so
really
Dewsbury
incredible.
came out last March, and the agency WME only became official this January. So Dewsbury came out long before.
Was it out in America then as well?
So
was it worldwide?
Company was actually American. Like it scored better in America than it did here. I don't know why. I think so I had an ex in America, and we can never ever get sarcasm right together. My version of sarcasm was very different to hers, and vice versa. We just didn't understand when each other were being sarcastic. And I think the lack of sarcasm in a lot of the film is maybe a reason why it worked. I think because there's lots of different types of comedy in it. Like there's slapstick bits. There's stupid words that we made up bits. There's everything, and quite hyper real characters that probably land with an American audience. So it
just did well over there rather than here. Well, a bit better over there. Do you want to give us the sort of little pitch, and we'll play the trailer, and then we can talk about making that. Yeah,
it's been a while since I've done this. I used to have my elevator pitch bang on.
Of course, but now you're
here we are. Let me recount it. It's a rude, crude schoolboy middle-aged comedy all about 4 middle-aged men that go on a road trip across the UK to find their dying friend for one last time.
Life finds a way, said Gandhi, or Jeff Goldblum, one of them. And one of them was right. Life does find a way to turn your comfortable middle-class lifestyle into a totally nice.
Are you mad, fam?
I had a job. Are you leaving?
No.
I had a loving wife.
Why would you think that?
Oh, just
You're leaving me.
I had a house with a great neighbourhood watch and reliable bin collections. But then it all went to rather quickly. How's Frank?
Dying. He's not that long now. He wants to see you again.
Me? All of them. So we began.
That's not good.
4 old pals out to see their dying friend one last time. Frankie. However, the other 3...
Toilet wouldn't flush.
Well, one's a complete idiot.
What do I need to do? You're still the same useless you were at school.
One of them has more problems than the Middle East. And one of them is to women what beat is to the hair between your hole and your back.
So, how do you swing then?
But nothing could stop us.
Where did you get it?
Not even Neville, who just sort of turned up out of nowhere after everyone had forgotten about him. Much like herpes. Oh, thank God for that.
All right, Adam. Mad this, isn't it?
But Frankie needed us. And we would do anything for him. Even that.
Literally went through Peter.
Because that's friendship. And real friendship doesn't age. It doesn't die.
We don't get to talk because it's your fault someone may or may not be lying dead in there because you're a bad friend and a face.
Friendship survives.
Love
Still
it.
got it.
Still got it. Still got
There
it.
it is.
There it
There
is.
it
So how did you...
Salesman forever.
Salesman forever. Always hot tubs. They'll always be there in your back pocket. So let's talk about the actual making of it then. You shot over 26 days, you said-ish, and it's a road movie.
Yeah.
So
we did 19 days, and then a year later came back and did 4 pickup days.
Okay.
Because we basically, a week before we shot, we were supposed to do a 4-week shoot, and then we realised that we were going to run out of money halfway through week 4. So we're like, let's try and scram this into a 3-week shoot.
Okay.
And inevitably didn't get everything we needed to done, so I had to go away and raise some cash, which took a year. That was the hardest bit of fundraising. So we'd got half of it in the can.
Right.
I thought as well, because we raised half the budget to shoot. I thought that once you've got some footage in the can, it'd be easy to show investors. But I found, I'd say less than 30% of my investors read the script before saying yes.
I agree with that. Yeah, they just don't.
I remember the lad that put in about half the budget, showing him some rushes in a pub in London after we shot it, and he literally was watching the football. Didn't even put his eyes on the laptop. It was mad. Honestly, you wouldn't believe it. They just want the stats of what you think is going to make.
Yeah, they could, absolutely.
And even then, with the the next movies where we've got sales MGs and stuff, obviously the sales company give you low, mids, and highs in sales estimates. We didn't have any of that. We were just like, here's a load of comparable movies that have done well.
Yeah.
We're hoping we do well.
We're hoping. Look how
you can't lie to them.
You can't look how well the Full Monty did. We could do that.
Yeah, it is very vague.
Yeah,
and,
it's very vague.
You've got to be honest and say, look, you're protected by SCIS and the fact that you got shares in the next few films. So the unlikelihood of me having 3 flops in a row, hopefully, is pretty low.
Yes.
And as you go up the budget chain, the higher your chances of making cash are back.
Of course.
Because you've got bankable talent in it.
And more amazing talent around you as well to make it even better. They can do the vision you want.
And, your SCIS, the most you're going to lose is half, and the potential of like movie 3 or whatever is hopefully 4 or 5 million budget. Blah 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 blah. So you protect them as much as you can, because you don't want them losing cash.
No.
Especially at that point, that they've taken the risk on you.
No. Does it affect the fact that some of your investors are already in the second and third movie, if you like? Does that make sense? Certainly the second one, with the new investors coming in, is that an issue at all for them?
No. So their shares just come out of my shares.
I see. Sense? Yeah.
My deal on 3-Day Millionaire is structured. The percentage pot that comes back to the producers. My share of that. Some of that just goes back to my investors. Mm-hmm. And I think we've given them like a third of the cash value of what they put into Dewsbury. To make sure that they're up now.
Yeah.
Practically, in theory. So it's a nominal sum.
Great.
But it just because they've only put 5-10 grand. It just means that they're up regardless. It was pretty clean to do, to be honest.
Great. Well, let's talk about making it then. So was there any issues? I imagine there was, but...
Oh, yes.
How did you find coping? Like 3 weeks?
Once we dodged the angry neighbours, I thought we were up
to no good.
I think. But, I mean, it wasn't. It was once getting the money in was undoubtedly the hardest bit. And then it was just a slog. I think when you do a feature film, it's just a bit of a mental slog, and I hope I'm never as stressed out as that one. 2 days after we finished shooting, I was back home. I kept when you're doing a movie, you're not really sleeping. You're full of adrenaline.
Mm-hmm.
You
brain's wired. It's hard to
your brain's exactly. Your brain's wired. And I remember waking up in the middle of the night, mentally shouting, how long? Stuff I was shouted on set to my AD, how long then? How long?
Mm-hmm.
And being in this weird dream/reality state where I was still on set, waiting for lights to be set up.
Yep.
And it's weird, really weird. But
it's such a hard thing to explain, and I think only if you've directed something. And I think the trick is, you have to direct something for a week maybe
at least.
It's that pattern of making thousands upon thousands of decisions a day.
Yeah.
And when you wrap for the day and go home and you lie in bed and your brain is still firing at that same pace, and it's the weirdest thing. It permeates your dreams. If I'm shooting a commercial now, I still get it. It never goes away. It never dies out. If I'm on an intense shoot, you always get it, and it's so bizarre. It's so strange.
Yeah. So one of my worst ones was 2 weeks after we'd finished The Dare, and it was so intense. It was crazy. And I literally sat up in bed, and I pointed over to whatever it was. There was a chair in the corner. And went, "We've got to move that quick because the whole tripod's got to come in here. Get out of bed now. We've got to move the bed," to my missus, because I totally believed that suddenly the crew were all coming in and we're about to shoot in my room.
Yeah,
but your brain cannot. It's really difficult to. Yeah, it's like it afterwards.
Come down after.
Yeah, the come down.
Oh,
People
horrible.
don't talk about that. It's really horrible.
Oh,
yeah.
It's nasty. I remember
you need to throw yourself into something
I was
else.
skint at anything, so I went back and lived with my mum straight from the set. I didn't even go to the rap party because I was so tired. I just wanted to be in a bath in London, and just exhausted. And come home and like that day, just being like told when you're eating dinner. You've gone. I was explaining this yesterday. You've gone from like the. Obviously, just by nature of the job, the centre of attention, and you're just being asked hundreds and hundreds of questions a day, and making all them decisions. And basically being the epicenter and the spine of everything, to then being told like, "I'll be back for 6 o'clock for your dinner." It's like, what's happened here?
What am I supposed to do?
Like, you come crashing back to
totally, because before it was 1 o'clock. That's when lunch is. Everyone knows lunch is going to be prepared and given to you sometimes, and then when you're finishing for the day. You're back at home.
Your purpose is gone.
What do I do?
You like, and your purpose is gone until someone. I think Scott again explained to me. It was like production is like you're a rocket taking off from Earth, and then during post, it's just you and the rocket in space, you and your editor, and then you land on Moon or come back to Earth or whatever for your premiere. And it's exactly true. You kind of, And I didn't really have any while we were doing the post for like a year, 18 months. I didn't really, until quite late on in that period where 3-Day Millionaire landed on my desk. We didn't really have any plans for the next film. I kind of had in my head that Dewsbury had to make money and be a phenomenal success for me to be able to do another one. Then I kind of realised when we started raising cash for 3-Day that wasn't the case. People were just excited by the fact I'd done one, and I wasn't a first-time director, and I'd done it young and had all that press. And then further down the line with WME came, that kind of added just a whole other layer of legit. Everything since WME have come on, everything's happened a lot quicker. Meetings, you get meetings, you finances. You're not. It's like you've given a stamp of legitimacy.
Yeah.
It's weird, and it doesn't. I'm no different to how I was before WME. It's a weird societal, like film industry thing, I guess.
Yep.
And your life doesn't become any easier. It's still you finding the cash. Your agent sets you up some meetings, and being able to say with WME helps a lot. But you're still doing all the work. And little things are made easier. You'll probably, if you want to meet around a producer, you get WME, send them an email, you'll probably get the meeting. Wherever, if it comes from me, you won't.
Yes.
Attaching talent becomes a bit easier because you've got them in, and again, it's a WME offer. But it's still kind of the same hustle. It's me going out, sending Facebook messages for like $5,000 investment for life in the league.
Isn't it funny how when we first started, and it's really interesting you say that. A lot of people think my first film has to be a big smash. It has to be like that so I can make my next film. And maybe it's because we got told that a lot. Certainly I did. Maybe you, CJ, as well. 5-10 years ago, your first film, or 20 years ago, it has to be a big hit. But now it doesn't. It doesn't at all. It's just total shit. So many big directors now have their first film was not a success at all, and now they're making Guardians of the Galaxy or whatever. And I think
Edgar Wright,
he was really
Fistful
young
of Fingers, wasn't he? Yeah. Even as a filmmaker, I nick a lot of his visual stuff.
Totally, your style is it's similar to that, and I think.
I really want to meet him. I feel like we're on a similar path. Riveting story.
You should strike up some sort of partnership with Wetherspoons.
Absolutely, love that.
They've definitely fueled your career to some degree.
I did all of my casting for Dewsbury and Wetherspoons as well. So the way that I cast is a bit different. I don't like doing auditions. I don't see. It's just like it's like a job interview. If you're smart, you know what they want to hear, so you do it. And then you turn up to your job on day one, and it's nothing like your job interview. Auditions are the same. I think directors put their heart on a reading. And then at this point, it's when you come to rehearsals 2 months later and it sounds different. I've done some like primary script analysis by the point we're casting, so I know my character's spines, like the reason they get up in the morning. And I've always thought about casting actors who in real life have the closest spines to the characters, because then, our spine basically determines our big life decisions. So the character's decisions make a lot more sense to the actor if they've got a very similar spine to the character. So I worked out my character spines in my script, and then go and meet me actors, and I've done my tapes and I've got my shortlist and I've watched everything they've ever done, and go and secretly see them in plays and stuff. But then I meet them and we just have a very kind of conversational chat about their kind of childhood and upbringing, and I work out what their spine is, and that's how I come to my casting decisions.
It's so interesting how we cast, isn't it, and how we work out who's right for the role. I cast from tapes now at first. I never wanted to do this, but now I'll get casting tapes in, and I'll go, I want that person. They'll just bring something that's them, that's the essence, or they've really thought about it. And I go, I reckon it's them. And then when I get in the room with them, I'm like, right, prove me wrong. And if they don't, you're like, yeah, you've got the part because you were already in my mind. And it's interesting how we get our inspiration, isn't it? And how we attach. We go, no, that's the person I want. Casting's a fun one. It's great fun.
I love it. We're about to do it for Life in Non-League. Put the casting out.
Look, we could chat all day, and this has been so much fun. This has been brilliant. Destination Dewsbury is available now. People can go watch it. It's on Amazon. Where's the best place for people to find it?
Any good pirate site. No, I'm joking. Someone really integral to the film sent me a picture of them watching on a pirate site.
Unbelievable.
I'm fairly sure it was my lead investor.
Well, he's allowed.
I was like, what are you doing, man? Like, talk about shoot yourself in
But most people can watch it not on pirate site, but where's the best
it's
place?
It's on Prime. You can get it on DVD. Yeah. Prime. Prime's your best bet. YouTube movies have it as well. That's another easy one.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, on all your usual. It used to be on the best thing about it was in cinema for 6 weeks, and Showcase picked it up.
So
and with
good that you got that.
Yeah, that's a weird story. Have we got time for another quick story?
Yeah, go on. Yeah, how you got into Showcase is a great story. Go on.
Yeah. So, and this is good advice for any film. So, obviously, we called it Destination Dewsbury because we thought we were being smart by you do like Star Wars versus $150,000 indie budget movie about 4 white guys going on a road trip by a director no one's heard of in London.
Also a good title.
Yeah. That was my sales pitch.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to go watch Star Wars in London, but if you pick a northern town with a big cinema, shoot it all there, get all the local press behind it, micro target all your social media spend to people in that area, and you have a population of 200,000 or 300,000 in that area that know what you're doing, and painting the town in not a bad light. They're going to like it, and that was the battle plan. So we wanted to pick a northern town. We wanted to be destination something. Beginning with D, we went to like Doncaster, Derby, Dudley, Dewsbury, and Kirklees Council, who run Dewsbury basically. They were by far the most welcoming, and they were fantastic to work with throughout the whole thing. So he said, right, we're going to do it in Dewsbury, and there's a big old Showcase cinema there. That was part of the criteria when we were scouting our northern towns beginning with D.
Clever. You're already thinking about your selling the movie after. This is what I was bang on about, and it's so good to hear.
Yeah. It's just important. How's it going to make money? So I had my film done and rang up Showcase, literally the reception. I was like, hiya, could I speak to, I want to do like a premiere. All I wanted to do really, there was a premiere. That's all I thought we could do. And we wanted to do one on the Saturday in Dewsbury and then Sunday at the Prince Charles in Leicester Square on the Sunday. So Saturday, Sunday, do like a double header. And that's what we ended up doing. But then the manager at the Showcase sent it, way before the premiere to his boss at Showcase HQ, and he absolutely loved it. He was a big champion of me, still is, and they've signed up to do theatrical distribution, 100 screens plus on 3 days, million already. And they've got LinkedIn, they got deals with Odeon View and one of the other ones. Anyway, but they were like, we want to be the UK theatrical distributor. We'll run all the trailers in our cinemas. Initially, they were going to do it for like a week. And then it kept doing all right, so they ended up just rolling it over week by week for 6 weeks.
Incredible, well done.
Yeah, and they were awesome. So advice, literally, to ring up the cinema. You don't have to go through this convoluted route. We got a theatrical distribution, a very good one for a film on that budget. Very good, deal. We basically kept 50% of ticket money.
Yep.
You'd not get that as a as a filmmaker if you go through distributors and a film where that budget with no stars ain't going to get distribution.
Jack, you're so right. It's true. Yeah, we did it on A Serial Killer's Guide to Life. We just rang around the cinemas and, 50-50 box office split. Hustle.
Mark Duplass did a talk at South by Southwest 2012 or 13.
Yeah.
All about cavalry will not come calling. And it's right. And by the time the cavalry do come calling, you are the cavalry. And basically what that means in English is people won't come and give you money and give you agents and stuff. You've got to hustle. You are the power that can raise that money. And it's the whole teach a man how to fish stuff. Yeah. If you can go raise cash, and you've got that network, you're so much more powerful.
You're invaluable that way. Yeah, if you can do it yourself, well, they go...
I raise the cash still for my own projects. And it's like, many directors can do that.
Yeah, and they want you then. Yeah.
So, keep hustling.
Love that. That's great advice. Where can people follow you on the socials and online then?
At Jack Spring Film on Instagram, Twitter. If you really want to say hello, you can me on Facebook as well. Probably getting a bit personal.
Yeah, just Jack.
And
Spring.
Jack, your home address. All our guests do it, Jack. They all do it. Honestly,
set up a PO box so you can send a mail.
Absolutely. This has been brilliant. CJ, where can people follow you?
At C James Direct. That's where I am. You can get me there.
There you go. You can follow me at Giles Alderson or at Filmmakers Pod, where we have a back catalogue of over 160 podcasts now, all about how you can go make your film. I am going to go to Wetherspoons. I'm going to grab myself a pint. And pretty much Jack has got shares in that. And then I'm going to go head to a park bench in Kensington, in the park.
I was just going to say that.
And I'm going to meet some investors.
And then you're going to ring up a load of cinemas, and then you'll have your movie together.
There you go.
Yeah. You've got all the elements.
So much fun. This has been amazing. What great stories, and congratulations. Everyone go see Destination Dewsbury. Go support indie films. Go support Jack. And I can't wait to have you on to talk about your next movie, which is the 3 Day Millionaire. Amazing. Congratulations. So exciting. So exciting for you. And we'll see you lot next Tuesday as always, because that's what we do. And remember, if you're lucky enough to rise up and do well, it is your duty to send the elevator back down, just as Jack is doing. Take care, boys.
Ciao.
Pleasure, Jed. So thank you very much for having me on.
Oh, absolute pleasure.
Let's all congregate in a Wetherspoons once this is all passed over.
Yeah, man, definitely. See you later. Bye. Jack, that was brilliant.
Pleasure.
That was really good, buddy.
Brilliant.